Hello, loves! It's Kat here from Self Unity, and for today's reading, we will be divining the messages of guidance that you most need to hear and receive at this time. For today's reading, we are using the Tarot of Tales deck, and we're just going to go ahead and jump right in to see what today's messages of guidance are. So while I'm shuffling the deck, if you feel called to, I always invite you to take a moment to pause and come to your center through some deep intuitive breath work. So if you feel called to, you can do some breathing with me right now. So just go ahead and breathe in and then let it out. One more time, breathe in and let it out. And just go ahead and continue doing that as many times as you feel called to. If you need to pause the video, just to continue doing some deep breath work, connecting with your body and getting aligned with your own intuition, your heart center, so that way you are aligned and open to receiving the messages of guidance that are going to come through for you today. And while you're listening to this reading, please just keep in mind that this is a general reading. So not all the messages may resonate with you. If something doesn't resonate, don't force it to fit. Where it doesn't fit, just move along to the next message that does resonate with you. And always, in this reading and in life, trust your intuition above all. First and foremost, and above all. I said it backwards today, but that's okay. All right, let's see. Let's get one more tarot card. I think we can make it fit, and then we'll get into today's messages. All right, so how are you feeling after that Scorpio full moon we just had? I am filming this right after the Scorpio full moon. It's been a couple days now, but we're definitely in that integration period of all that we released from that Scorpio full moon, and you could still be going through the process of releasing things, clearing things out, and also integrating all the lessons, experiences, and those big emotions that came up for you during the Scorpio full moon. But let's go ahead and see what's coming up with our tarot cards today. So we have the High Priestess. Ooh, we love to start with the High Priestess. Things that are hidden are going to be revealed, unveiled. We also have Two of Cups. Okay, so somebody could be thinking about love. We may get into a little bit of a relationship reading today. We also have the Magician. Wow, we've got the Magician and the High Priestess. Wow, and we have 7, the Chariot. Wow. Okay, so we have a lot of major arcana coming out today. 7 of Cups, which is so interesting because the last reading I did in relation to that Scorpio full moon, we had no major arcana, and now we have 3 coming out with the 2 cups here. All right, so let's go ahead and see what the general message is for you today, loves. Okay, loves, so I'm getting a couple different messages here. Okay, so if you didn't watch my last reading on the full moon in Scorpio, I posted it a couple days ago. Spirit is definitely guiding you to go back and maybe check out that reading if you resonate with this message that I'm about to share. So the 7 of Cups is about making a choice, okay? And the Chariot is about moving towards something new. And so for some of you, there's something that you have been feeling guided to release from your being or from your energy field or from your physical environment, something that needs to be transformed and transmuted. And for some of you, you have not yet released what needs to be released. It's been like knocking on your door saying, hey, enough is enough. It's time to let this go. It's time to move on. And it is a difficult choice to make from an emotional standpoint because you have attachments to this space, to this person, to this energy, this habit, this pattern. And so of course, it's going to be difficult to make that choice to leave it behind. And so that's why Spirit's coming in and saying, hey, if you haven't watched the video that I shared right before this one, you may want to go tune in and listen to that reading because we talked a lot about what this release, what this transformation will provide to you, what it will give to you if you honor yourself and what your intuition's guiding you towards around releasing that. Okay, so Spirit just wanted me to sort of reiterate that. But for some of you, you've already gone through that releasal process, okay? You've let something go, and now you're sort of in that liminal space of moving closer towards the next thing. Okay. And so what Spirit's saying around that is, we're getting a couple different messages coming in at the same time. I'm like, where does Spirit want me to go here? But what they are saying around that is that you really have to take ownership of what it is that you want to experience in this next phase of your life. You are the magician, okay? The magician is the creator of his or her reality, okay? He has all the tools, he or she has all the tools that they need to create whatever it is that they want to create, whatever it is that they want to experience. And so you too have all the tools, the wisdom, the inner knowing that you require to create the reality that you're wanting to experience, okay? And so I know that can be a little like convoluted in the way that I shared that, but Spirit's really saying like you have all the tools and the wisdom and the means to take the next step that you need to take in order to get yourself closer, to move closer to the experience or the reality or the manifestation, whatever it is that you're wanting to call into your life. You have everything you need to get yourself there. Okay. And so for some of you, if you're hearing me say this and you're like, I don't know how to get myself there, like what are you talking about? Then you are being guided to slow down, to go within, come back into yourself. That's why Spirit guided me to share the breath work in the beginning of the reading, because I don't always share that anymore. I used to do it every single reading, but lately I've been guided to stop doing that. But Spirit guided me to share it today in today's reading, because that is what you're needing to do. If you don't know what the next steps are, if you don't know where to go next or what to do next, that is your sign that you need to slow down, come back to your breath, which will guide you back to your center, which will still your mind. All right, it'll take you out of the physical, take you out of your mind and bring you back to your center, into your body and into your intuition, where you can receive the guidance and the inner knowing as to what steps you can take to get yourself to that next point. Okay, so for some of you, breath work is heavily being guided, heavily being recommended. Meditation, there's tons of guided meditations online on YouTube that you can connect with and practice. Always listen to your intuition. Go to the ones that your intuition is guiding you towards to practice. And Spirit's also saying just learning how to meditate on your own is also going to be very beneficial, okay? Because when you do guided meditations, you are essentially connecting with somebody else's energy. Somebody else created this meditation, and they were, working with, maybe different energies, different guides. But when you remove that element and you just come back into yourself and you do that breath work with yourself, it's just you and your energy, okay, and your own guides, your God, goddess, whichever spirit guides, deities that you work with. That's all that will be present with you when you come back to your own energy and be present with your own breath and do a meditation with just yourself. I know it can be a lot more difficult to come into that space of, finding your center when you're having to rely on yourself, but Spirit's heavily guiding you to this space because the new space that you're transitioning into, it's around these choices that you have to make for yourself, and it's something that you have to create for yourself. It's really like being there for yourself. And so that's why Spirit's recommending and guiding you to practice breath work, meditation work, on your own without having those guides there. Of course, if you do have an extremely difficult time doing meditations on your own and you want to kind of ease yourself into it, if it's been a while since you've done some meditations on your own, then by all means, if your intuition's guiding you to do some practice guided meditations from YouTube videos, or you can even purchase like guided meditations from other spiritual healers and teachers that you vibe with. But after you kind of ease yourself into and you get more comfortable with doing those guided meditations and sitting with yourself and spirit then maybe remove the guided meditations from your practice and then just try it on your own, okay? Just try it on your own. And all you have to do is just bring your awareness, bring your focus to your breath, okay? Spirit's also bringing up lion's breath. This is actually one of my favorite breath work practices to do. So look up lion's breath because I'm not filming myself right now, so I can't show you how to do it. Maybe I'll do like a little shorts or something to show the lion's breath. So remind me if you want me to try that. I don't know if I want to do that, but Spirit's guiding me to share that. So if you want to see me do lion's breath or guide you on how to do it, let me know and I'll like make a quick little short video about it because it's really easy, really simple. But there's also tons of yoga instructors and meditation teachers that have visuals of the lion's breath already up online. So definitely look into that practice as well. That will help you to release energy and also to reclaim your sense of confidence and power in yourself. Like you'll be really embodying that lion or lioness energy. Okay, so I was not expecting to talk about meditation, breathwork for so long, but that is really coming through so strongly. So it's important that you definitely make time to practice daily breath work and meditation and just sitting with yourself, especially if you are in that liminal space of you've already released something from your life and now you're kind of wondering what's next, what's going to take its place. So right now what's going to take its place is you coming back to your center and sitting with yourself in stillness and sitting with spirit in stillness and just being present with yourself, okay? And that is enough. That is enough. You are enough and you are worthy of allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to make time to just sit with yourself. Okay, now the other message that was coming through with the High Priestess here in the Two of Cups is that there is something hidden that's going to be revealed, okay? And Spirit's actually saying that this thing that's hidden, it's nothing nefarious, it's nothing negative. It's just there's something that is like maybe existing within the subconscious of yourself, or maybe within a relationship, a connection of some sorts, where there's just things that you were not aware of, or maybe things that you weren't allowing yourself to be aware of that are now going to come out into the light so that they can be just made known. And so that way, if there's any healing that needs to take place around this knowing, that can happen. And so you can transmute that energy and work through it either with yourself or together with this other person that it's involving, or this community, or Spirit's also saying maybe even to let it go. You know, there may be, I'm getting the sense that if this is about a job, okay, like maybe a workplace, a work environment that you have left behind or you're thinking of leaving behind, there's something that's going to be revealed that just doesn't sit right with you. It's nothing too bad, but it's not something that you want to continue connecting with, or you've already made the decision to leave this job behind, and then you learn about some things that they were doing behind the scenes or under the surface, and you're just like, wow, I'm so glad I listened to my intuition and I left that place, because it's just not something that you really want to move forward with and be vibing with. And then for some of you, it's going to be like the icing on the cake, where it just solidifies what you're already feeling and gives you the go ahead to leave this experience, this job, or relationship, connection, whatever it is, to leave it behind and move into a new space that is more supportive or more in alignment with what you actually want to be experiencing and supporting. All right, so let's see if anything else comes through with the tarot today. I think that was all the messages that were coming through. There is the Seven of Cups here, which Spirit just wants me to highlight that this is about making a choice, okay? And so some of you are definitely going to be coming up on a time and in spaces that are going to require you to be making choices for yourself, and ultimately like your future path, but also your present path. So not just your future path, but also your present path. There are like two little birds right outside my window right now, and they are just chirping it up. They are here for this energy, here for these messages. So that could be a sign for somebody, and I think they're like ripping all the flowers out of the bush and putting them on the ground. So interesting. So that could definitely also be a sign that it's time to clear out some stagnant energy, clear out old energy, because just like I said, the birds are like letting go of those flowers, cleaning them out. Very interesting. I've never seen birds do that before, but that is happening right now. And so that's a message that I was meant to share with you. So interesting. All right, so this deck here that I'm pulling cards from is the Seasons of the Witch Mabon Oracle. So let's see what we have from this deck here. We have foraging, number 17. There is no better feeling than having gone after what you desire. I love that this came out, foraging, after I shared about the birds picking all the flowers off, because it's like the birds are foraging. So somebody may actually be going foraging soon, in the literal sense of like actually going foraging for something in the woods or in the forest. I'm also seeing like, you know, going like seashell collecting, or like going and looking for sea glass, or just things that like wash up on the beach or the ocean, and then also foraging in the forest for like mushrooms, or even like, I don't know if it's berry season right now, but maybe like berries or some type of herbs that are starting to pop up. Now that we're kind of in the middle of spring season, almost going into summer, there may be some like beautiful treasures to be found in the forest. And then somebody could also be going foraging. I'm just seeing here for like information. Okay, so like you're seeking information, you're seeking answers to something, you're wanting to learn more about something, and so you're trying to put yourself in the spaces or the places or in the connections that are going to provide you with the information that you're trying to learn about. Okay, so this could be applied to like a new job or something that you're wanting to learn about and grow within, and so you're trying to connect with those people or places that can provide you with that information. We also have Witch's Rosary, number 43. Craft your skills with intentions repeated, a practice of magic powered by purpose. Yes, this is definitely lending to the energy of like a new beginning, a new path of some sort. And for some of you, this choice that you're making, this new space that you're moving into, it is something that is completely new to you. It's something that you may have like always wanted to learn more about, but you just didn't make time for it, or it just wasn't the right time. Things hadn't quite aligned yet, but now is the right time for you. And so for some of you, you could be going back to school in some way, or even just like, you know, getting a bunch of books on this subject material, like the subject matter of what you're wanting to learn more about. You could be seeking out a mentor or like a tutor that can help you learn more about this. Even like maybe like a life coach that can help guide you to the spaces or the places that are going to provide you with the information and the knowledge that you're seeking in order to develop your skills, knowledge, and wisdom around this new energy that you're inviting into your space. All right, we also have Queen of the Dead, number 31. Fear not the rage of fire living within, for it is the power of your fierceness waiting to taste you fully. Oh, I love this. Okay, so I love this so much. So with this card too, Spirit is saying that as you start learning about these new spaces, these new subjects, this new material that you're learning about, you're going to discover that you know more about it than you thought you did. And for some of you, it's because it's like a past life remembrance. For some of you, it could be something that you were passionate as a child, like something you really connected with as a child, but as you got older, you got really far away from this. It could be like a creative pursuit. It could also be spiritual pursuit, where you know, maybe you have very beautiful divine spiritual gifts that you are meant to be working with, meant to be divining with, connecting with, and maybe sharing with others, or connecting with others through these gifts and this wisdom that you have. But I do feel that as you shift onto this new path, because it is like it's very new to you, you're just beginning to take those steps along this path. You are learning that you actually have more wisdom around this, and it's like the skills that you're going to be learning or tapping into just come very easily to you. And again, it's because you've already done this, whether in this life, like when you were younger, Maybe your ancestors did it and they just passed that inner knowing down to you through your DNA, or it's something that you did in a past life and those past life memories are now being activated. All right, we also have Mountain Cabin 27. There are times when solitude can be healing and enlightening. Yes, the answers you're seeking cannot be found in the external, they are going to be found within. Okay, so even though you are seeking for some type of like validation or proof or assurance from somebody outside of you in connection to what it is that you're wanting to pursue, you already have the answers. You already have the skill set. You already have the wisdom. You already have the knowledge within. Okay. And no matter if you choose to connect with others and like teachers or mentors or guides to gain more wisdom and awareness and skills, like develop your skills around this, even if they say to you like, wow, you're so good at this, you're so amazing, oh my goodness, how did you know that? At the end of the day, you have to be the one that trusts in your capabilities, in your skills, in your wisdom, and you have to be the one that is validating yourself in these experiences. Okay, so right now, Spirit is saying to stop seeking validation or acceptance from places outside of you. That's why you left this energy that you left behind. That's why you left it behind, because you are not receiving the acceptance, the love, the comfort, the assurance that you required. And it's not that you weren't accepting like the validation and the assurance from those spaces. That's not like all that was wrong, quote unquote wrong. I mean, it's not wrong or right, but that's, that's not exactly the full scope as to why you left and released this from your being, from your energy field. But it's like it's Spirit's showing me this like zoomed out perspective where it's like you had to leave that because you weren't receiving the validation, the acceptance, the assurance of your worth from those spaces. And so of course you needed to leave because you were not being held in the state of love and worthiness that you deserve and desire. And you saw that for yourself. You saw that you were worth so much more than what that space was gifting to you, what it was providing to you. And so you decided to up and leave. But now that you've left it, now that you've let it go, now that you've left it behind, it can be very easy to get caught back up in this energy of seeking like, well, where am I going to find my worth? Where am I going to find that validation in the external spaces? That's like where you're looking for it, when that's not where it comes from. It comes from you slowing down and going within and telling yourself, my worthiness comes from within me. I get to decide, you get to decide your worthiness, your value, your depth of love. Okay, and so that is why Spirit was so heavily guiding me to share that you really need to be making time to sit with yourself in stillness and meditation. Do that breath work, sit in solitude, because that is where the healing and enlightenment is going to come from. That is where you're going to find the depths of your worthiness. That's where you're going to find the depths of your love, your abundance, your power, your truth. Okay, loves. Ooh, I'm getting like chills. This is getting really powerful. We're getting some really powerful readings. We got some powerful people in here this week. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for letting me read these messages for you. Because you are powerful and you deserve to know that, and you deserve to accept that for yourself first and foremost. Okay. Yes, you can go to these spaces and seek out tutors, seek out guides, seek out communities that are also interested in these things that you're interested in, but know that you do not need validation or acceptance from those spaces or those people. You can give it to yourself first and foremost, and you have to give it to yourself first and foremost. Otherwise, you're just going to keep entering into that loop of like seeking it in your external environment. When it doesn't come from outside of you, it comes from within you. Okay, love, so let me go ahead and talk a little bit about the symbolism coming through here now. So we've got the owl medicine here, which represents wisdom. We've also got the snake here, which represents transformation. You are going through a transformation right now. Also picking up on the rosary here. So rosaries can be significant to somebody. I'm also picking up on this energy that like a passed on loved one may have like always had their rosary with them. There could also be somebody in your community, like your family members or your friends who like always have a rosary with them, or they pray the rosary very often, and maybe they share this practice with you. This could also be something that you are wanting to practice. And then for some of you, I'm also seeing that maybe you used to pray the rosary or even like prayed on like mala beads, but you're wanting to transform that practice. Maybe you're not resonating with that type of prayer work anymore, and you're trying to transform it into something that is in more alignment with your own intuitive wisdom and what you feel intuitively guided to practice for yourself. It's not like a practice that somebody or something outside of you told you should practice. It's just a practice that you are creating for yourself, okay? And so that's also relating back to the message around, should you practice guided meditations from others, or kind of just sit with yourself in silence and meditate with yourself and your own, being present with your own breath with yourself. Okay, so it's like you're going through this process of where you allow others to come into your space and kind of not dictate, but where you allow others to really like provide you with knowledge and wisdom and guidance and affect your day to day, versus where you can kind of take some of that power back, take some of that ownership back, and create practices that came from within you, like practices that you just created on your own because it feels good to you, and it's more in alignment with your own intuition, and it comes from within you. It doesn't come from outside of you. All right, we also have the cabin here. So somebody could be taking a trip, going to like a cabin or doing like a getaway for a weekend. Some of you could also live in like the mountains or live in a mountain cabin, which that's just so amazing. But that's just confirmation coming through for somebody there. I'm also picking up again the relation to the rosary, where like somebody who maybe prayed the rosary or maybe they practice like Catholic faith, maybe they had a cabin in the woods, or maybe not even in the woods, but they just like had a cabin, and you just have memories of like going and visiting them in this cabin, or taking like trips in the summers or winters to go and stay at this cabin with them. Okay, so we definitely have some spirit guides coming through with those messages there. And with that too, they're saying like they are with you along this journey to support you, and they back you 100%. If you're making changes to practices that you learned when you were a child, or practices that your family members asked you to practice, or maybe even forced you to practice, they're saying it's okay to change them. It's okay to transform them, because it's getting you to come deeper into alignment with yourself, and they are with you 100% of the way. I'm also hearing here where it's like maybe they didn't have a choice, where because the past few centuries there have been a lot of heavy like societal expectations. There's also in religion, there are very strong beliefs that things have to be done a certain way, and if you step outside those lines, then bad things could happen to people. Okay, so this is definitely picking up on like witch wound energy, like the witch trials. Also, I'm also picking up on like the Holocaust energy a little bit here. Some very heavy energy where your family members, and even like Native American tribes, your family members, that your ancestors, not family, I mean, they are family members, but maybe you never met them, and they're coming through and they're just saying like your ancestors want you to know like they may not have had a choice in what they practice, because it was quite literally like life or death. And so if you are feeling hesitant to transform your practices now, just know that times are different now, and it is safe for you to transform your practice that is more honest and truthful to what you are feeling guided and called to practice and experience. And it very well could be like in alignment with what your ancestors truly believed in and what they actually wanted to practice. It's just they may not have had the opportunity to practice it because of the times that they were living in the societies that they were living in. But now you have a choice, and so your ancestors, your spiritual guides, They are now serving as your spiritual guides, your ancestors, and they are coming through, and they are just letting you know that they are with you through this transformation, and they are helping to offer you the guidance and to help you create these new practices that do feel more love-based and more truthful to who you are and what you want to be practicing and experiencing. Okay, loves. So I say all that with so much love. Take it easy as you integrate and process those messages that came through, because they did get a little bit heavier. But of course, we are working with the Seasons of the Witch Mabon Oracle deck, which is a little bit of like the shadow energy coming through with these cards. But I was so heavily guided to bring it out today, and so that is why that we have some powerful messages coming through this week that we are working on transmuting and shifting through. All right, so let's see if anything else comes through with the symbolism. I'm just going to go through it real quick. So we have the crows, we got the rabbits, the mushrooms we already talked about. We have fox medicine here. Candles, working with candle energy, fire magic. All right, let's see if anything else. And then we also have the dark moon here, which is going to be highlighting the new moon, which is taking place on May 26th, and it's going to be the new moon in Gemini. So you could definitely be working on this energy through that time period until about May 26th with the new moon in Gemini. Okay, anything that we talked about in today's reading, but also those messages that we just talked about with the shifting of the practices, the spiritual practices that you're going to be working through. Okay, love, so I did not know we are going on 30 minutes now. Wow, this is a big reading. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull a couple affirmation cards, and then I'll pull some from this other deck here too, and we're going to close out this reading. All right, so I'm going to pull some affirmation cards from the Super Attractor Oracle deck. All right, so let's see. Let's just get a couple affirmation cards, and I probably won't interpret these too much in depth, because these are really just like cards that offer some affirmations of attracting things, manifestation, and things like that. Wow, look at that. I don't even have to interpret it. We've already been talking about this. I slow down and listen to the guidance that's available to me. Confirmation right there. It's time to slow down and tune in. When I'm tuned into the energy of abundance, I become abundant. Yes, this is that energy I was talking about around validating yourself. When you tap into your own innate energy, you get to determine and decide what that energy is defined as. All right, and then we have It's Good to Feel Good. All right, just a fun card. It's good to feel good. Yes, you get to decide how you feel, when you feel, and where you feel. And you'll be able to create this energy of good vibes, good feelings, that energy of abundance and love through slowing down, creating a practice, a daily practice if you can, to slow down and come into meditation with yourself, and to also create those spiritual practices that are more in alignment with you, that come from within you and not from places outside of you telling you how to create or how to be or how to practice your spiritual practices. All right, so I'm going to pull just a couple cards. I really wanted to pull some cards from this deck here. And this is the Divine Doors Oracle deck. All right, so let's just get one. We're just going to see which door are you going to be walking through today. So this is the one. And let's see what's on the other side there. Wow, the Sacred Lotus. Compassion in action. The chosen tool. I see now the lotus in your spirit's jewel. The sacred lotus. Okay, so the lotus as a symbol could be significant to somebody, and this is also the energy of transformation. All right, through that compassion in action, like it says there. Okay, so through taking action steps that are initiated through the compassion that comes from within, you will find the jewels, the abundance, the manifestations, the desires, the energy that you're wanting to connect with. Okay, but it comes through you slowing down, connecting with yourself, and then following it up with those intuitive guidance messages that you get from within yourself, and then following it up with that compassionate action. All right, so that is it for your messages today, my loves. I thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this reading, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on the next reading. I'm sending you so much love. Until next time, bye, loves.